mid 2017, there was this one case, and we went to the court hoping, because it was a severe fetal abnormality, but it was, I think, 25, 26 weeks, and up until then the court had only allowed termination for 24, 25 weeks. So it was somehow bordering the area, and eventually the medical board gave an opinion against the termination, and the court refused to hear us at length, because the court said that, if the medical board does not allow it, we are in no position to hear you any further than that. And then this woman, she went back to the same hospital that had given a medical opinion against termination. She gave birth to the baby there, and it was a baby boy who had severe neurological issues. The baby was kept in NICU for good 7-10 days. The mother, the petitioner, she was not allowed to leave the hospital, because the doctors were, they were scared that if she leaves, she would not come back for the child. So once probably it was assessed that the condition is not such that it could improve any further, the baby was handed over to the mother, and she was asked to take care of the baby as long as it would survive. So she comes back, and then a month later the baby dies. So the impact it had on her, and how she refused to speak to anybody, I think she's in a place where she's still trying to cope up. It's been 2 years, and she's still trying to cope up with it. I have been in touch with her, and from time to time when we talk, when we talk about what happened, that it is something that stayed with her, and when you're part of something like this, it stays with you as a person, because what happened. You've been a part of every single moment of that situation, so it stays with you. There is no way you can run away from that. I believe as a person, for me to keep in touch with them, to also know how they are doing, because even going to the court is traumatic for them. Imagine having to go to the Supreme Court or to the High Court to seek permission to abort, to seek permission to do what they want to do with their body. It's very difficult for anybody, and it is important to keep in touch with them, to know how they have how they have come around to accept what has happened and what has been their experience. So, and you also connect with each other, because you've been there through that phase. See, in the last 3 years, I believe they have moved ahead considerably, given that when we started, I remember 2016, the understanding of abortion rights, or not just the law, I think just women seeking termination or late termination, was very different from now, because then the court was like, come on, if the baby will survive, then of course you cannot do it. But now when pro-life groups come to the court and have tried to implead themselves, we hear judges who have probably not heard cases of for abortion rights, but who have kept themselves updated about what is happening in this issue. They themselves, I don't have to go and tell them that it's just a regressive mindset, or it's a regressive argument to say that women should not have the right. It is the judge who says that no, it's wrong, because you cannot tell a woman what she can and cannot do. It is her right, and you cannot come up with an argument tomorrow today in court saying that we believe, just because you believe that life begins at inception or at conception, does not mean that you will impose that on the woman. I think for anybody in human rights work, especially human rights litigation, when you're going to the court, you know that you don't have a choice, right? Because but somebody has to do it, and it is important, because whatever you are doing today has an irreversible effect on that person's life. And being able to go back home every day knowing that what I did actually made a positive difference in somebody's life, or positively impacted somebody's life to a very large extent, I think there's nothing better.